because I'm really pumped about it. So this gives you a little tidbit. All right. This is a little graph, a little polygraph here.
So absurd.
This is crazy. But we're about to look at 6 graphs after this. So this is kind of like a little bit of a teaser of what we, us Florida fans, are working with, and LSU. And then we have 6 options on the table. And we're going to vote on which we feel is the best for Florida football. There's no personalities, there's no names. And then we're going to do 2 levels, which was Allie's idea. Because I'm not going to tell you who's who. I'm not going to tell you like what 6 names are on the table. You're going to try to figure out what 6 names are on the table once we devote on a certain color. Okay? And I'm going to actually I'll get a poll up here so we can do this easy. I should be able to do this from here, and I can. I don't know if I can do 6 options, though, which is my only pet peeve. I can only do 4. That's a real bummer. All right, we're going to just do it by eye. All right, anyways. So this chart here you can see is very interesting. And we can look at Brian Kelly, which is the lower one. And again, what we're looking at is overall win percentage, the cost and value. So the way that I put this together was like the cost of trying to get said coach into the door, right? How much would this cost Florida to get them in? Player development, recruiting, which Billy's a little bit over exaggerated there personally. Win big games, the recent peak / trajectory where we feel that it can go, and then offensive identity. Okay. You see what we were working with Nape. Very small circle.
We can get him. It looks like for cheap, but except, I mean, I feel like we paid a lot for him, but he's not going to win. He's going to recruit really well, never win a big game, and his trajectory is terrible.
Yeah. We're just twiddling our thumbs here.
Literally hope. There's a little triangle that's hope. That is what
that's what he sold. So why we wanted to show this chart, the Brian Kelly one, is just because it's an interesting one to compare what they fired versus what we fired, Tim Brando. When we think about, okay, well, we got to go better than this. When we go to this next chart, you're going to look and go, wow. Like, wow. Maybe we're fishing in a better pond than we may think. I don't know. But we'll see. We'll see. Are we ready to dive into it? Any questions or thoughts on this, Allie, before I move on that I'm missing?
No, this is just, the Napier chart is just wild.
Earth-shattering.
It is.
Earth-shattering. All right. Here are the charts. Again, Allie does not know. They're all, as you can see, they're blacked out. She does not know who's who. I gave her an early look so she can start putting together her thought process. So keep in mind, this is a nice overall. There's two charts here because some people might have a hard time seeing this. So I also put together in a bar graph as well. And you can kind of, I mean, quick synopsis. The 2 red ones give you kind of that more overall appeal. The green is a kind of overall, but a little bit lower. The blue has some really high points, some kind of points you're concerned about. You can see what you're working with, right? I'm not going to say too much because I know, and I don't want to try to point anybody in any kind of direction. How we're going to do this is it's 1, 2, 3. So the, like, I guess darker red is 1, the middle red's 2, green 3, then 4, 5, 6. So put down in the comments, who is your number 1 guy based off these charts? Okay. Do we like this chart better or this chart better, Allie? What do we think?
I mean, I think they're both good.
This one looks a little bit cooler. Bar graphs are cool, but sometimes this kind of gives you, like, I think a better overall synopsis of, like, okay, like all around, just like give me that guy.
Yeah. Interesting.
We got to vote for number 2 already, which is interesting.
Yeah.
Give me 1. Okay. We got 1 vote for 1 vote for 2. 2, 1, 1, 2. This is, y'all are gonna go nuts.
Y'all are gonna go nuts. 1, 2, and 4 are the ones I'm looking at. Green has to be a defensive-minded coach, I'm gonna guess. And okay. 6.
Kiffin is 1, red 1, 2, 1. Give me 1. Steve said this one. Steve, I can't see where you're pointing.
Give us a number, Steve. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
We got a 3 in there. We got a 6. 6 is wild pull there for the 6. I love this. This is awesome. This is going better than I thought that it would. I'm so fired up right now. Look at this. 1, 1, 1, 2, 2. A little 4sies in there. I like a 4 pick. Some 4s in there. Okay.
I almost think give me 2.
Franklin is 1. 1 is Kiffin. 2 is Braum. 4, 1. All right. It seems like
Did you
1,
do the
2.
colors associated with the school?
No.
Okay.
There's nothing you can. There's no way you could figure out who is who by looking at this chart.
I don't even know the 6 coaches that you're throwing out there. This
Even
could
better.
literally be 6 high school coaches.
Even better. That's the whole point of this. All right. So it feels like I feel like if I had to pick out from the chat, and you said what were yours? 1. Sorry. What did you say?
1, 2, and 4 are my favorite. I think I might lean 2.
Okay. That's where a lot of people were.
Well rounded.
And I'm gonna give some. I don't want to give hints here. I don't want to give hints here. I'm not ready to
Well,
do that
everybody
yet.
get married to your number, and then you can tell us the 6, and we can try and figure out who's who.
Give me my number.
Well, I'm saying like everybody can just be married to their number. So I'll be married to 2, and then you can tell us the 6 names, and we can try and place where they go.
You might have to do that. The chat's gonna be insane, guys. How you read these charts, you can kind of see it's closely. Again, it's pulling in directions, right? So the outer of the circle is a 10. It's giving a score out of 10. Okay, 10 being the best, and you've got recruiting your top right. You've got winning of big games, like your 3 o'clock, your 4 o'clock.
Is Kiffin 5?
I can't say anything. All right. So what are we doing? We're guessing now. You want to guess? Oh, I have to give you 6 coaches, or you're gonna guess the 6 coaches?
Give me 6. Give me 6 coaches.
You're not guessing the 6?
You want me to guess? We're
That might be too
grasping at
much.
straws here.
That
I'm
might be too much.
assuming that you're gonna go people that Florida's probably looking at, but I don't even know that for sure.
Yes. There isn't a name that's going to catch you off guard. There may be a name that you weren't. Maybe not. Brent Key is not on here,
Okay.
and Alex Gold is not on here.
Okay. All right. So Kiffin's on there, and is Franklin on there?
Correct.
Okay. Signetti on there?
No,
Signetti's not on there. Drinkowitz on there?
he is. There's your
Braum
3.
on there?
He is.
Okay. Is Lashley on there?
He is not.
He is
We got some
not.
5s coming in from the clouds here.
Okay. Is Fran Brown on there?
He is not.
He is not. Okay. Let's see. Who
Who are we
else
missing?
might
3? We're
throw
missing
it?
2, right?
We're missing 2.
I'll give them to you. Lincoln Riley and Jed Fish.
Okay. Lincoln
Yeah.
Riley was going to be my next guess.
You guys weren't ready for that one, okay? Trent Diffler, his chart was too good, so I couldn't put him on here.
Trent Dilfer?
All right,
He's not
now,
on there?
I'm going to let you, Allie, when you get it right, I will remove the black strip from that chart. So,
Okay.
you go with what you feel best. You know the 6 names now. You don't have to go in order.
Is 5 Kiffin?
Number 5 is Lane Kiffin, which there wasn't too many votes for the old Kiff dog.
Got that offensive identity, but not win a whole lot of big games on there.
Good job. Look, there were some. You're taking 5. Let's get it. Okay, so there were some 5s that came in late. I'm not gonna lie. There was definitely some 5s that came from the clouds late, and I appreciate that. Let's keep it moving.
Is 2 Franklin?
2 is not Franklin.
Okay, is it Drinkowitz?
2 is not Drinkowitz.
Huh. Interesting. Okay. Is 1 Lincoln Riley?
1 is Lincoln Riley, which a lot of people wanted Lincoln Riley. There was a lot of votes for 1s. Look, now that we know the names, nobody can go back now. Okay. Oops, I just deleted Lincoln.
Okay.
Isn't this fun?
Yes, this is fun.
This is so cool. And what I love is that the 1, 2, and 4 were adamant, right? There were a few 5s that sprinkled in there. I think they realized when you said Kiffin that was the Kiffin train, so they flipped the script. I will give Harris credit; he said 5, but 1, 2, and 4 were adamant, and I want people to remember that. I'm not going to let you forget.
Interesting. All right. Is 3 Franklin?
He's not.
Shit. Okay. 6 Franklin?
6 is Franklin.
Okay.
6 is Franklin. And we'll talk about Franklin here separately because that's an interesting conversation that I want to dive into.
Yeah.
These
It is
next
interesting.
these
All right.
next ones are crazy because we got Drink, Fish, and Brom, and don't forget, a lot of people picked 2 and 4. Allie, a lot of people
Okay,
picked 2 and
so
4.
2 is 2 fish,
2 is not Fish.
then 2 is Brahm,
2 is Brom.
and 3 is drink,
Yep.
and 4
Yep.
is fish. Or
So
yep.
to do what's funny with it,
Hmm,
because personally, Fish looks really good in my eyes here. Lincoln and Fish look really good.
yeah,
And
yeah.
let's reveal, all right, the power rankings based on this chart here. Oh, whoops. That was from earlier. Sorry, I'll bring it back here in just a minute. This is
You're
where we
good.
are. So Lincoln at number 1. Lane Kiffin is not 2. Okay. You can
No,
see he's lower.
Brahm
It's not, and
2.
it's not in correct order here. Brom is 2,
Mhm.
then Fish is 3, then Lane. But you see where James is.
Yeah,
Very interesting.
yeah. Uh-huh.
Now,
But if you're taking into account your entire career, you also have to take into the fact that he was at Vanderbilt.
well, look, this is why numbers are fun, but they don't. That's why I wanted to just because everyone wants to throw numbers out there like so and so did this, so and so did that,
Sure.
right?
Yeah,
But I'm gonna go back to this because for people just tuning in to see because this is a fun way to look at it.
yeah,
Um, the Franklin one was interesting, and I talked to a Georgia
yeah.
buddy of mine today, and he goes, "You guys don't want James." He's like, "That's Mark Richt 2.0," and
I completely agree with that statement.
and
And
I
I
was like,
love Mark Richt.
yeah, and I was like, damn, buddy, he kind of stunned me there. Hit me with. I mean, I can argue with anybody. I was kind of like, because I'm thinking, well, Mark left Georgia and sucked. You know what I mean? And Mark got
Well,
fired with.
they got rid of him because he couldn't beat Florida. He could win 10 games every single season, but none of them happened in Jacksonville.
So the big thing that I learned from this is we all want the splashy hire because keep in mind what's a big part of this too is value, and that's something that I
Yep.
keep saying that Lincoln and James are going to ask for a bigger check because the aura that surrounds them.
Mhm.
Where the Jeff Fishes and the Brahms aren't going to carry as
Yeah,
much weight. Now we heard that I don't know if you I saw an article from Zach Overy kind of talking about the Brahms personality, and that's where Fish really intrigued me. And I was talking about Jet Fish today. I was like, man, this guy has he turned around Arizona. He
yeah.
turned around, like literally turned it around. Like this thing's going 100 miles an hour. The gas pedal's stuck, and he went down there with blindfolds on, pulled it out, and turned it back around. Type of
Mhm.
turnaround for Arizona and
Yeah.
Washington. They're 6-2 right now on a little bit of a burner, and he's a UF alum. Like, hey, hang on,
Mhm.
hold up, fill my
Yeah, he
cup
gets
up.
what the logo means, and that's a positive. I don't think I mean, he doesn't have head coaching experience in the SEC, which is a negative in my book. He idolizes Steve Spurrier. He'd crawl over broken glass to get here.
Wears a
We could
visor.
probably get him. Where's a visor? There's a add that to the win column. Um, I just fear that he would never fully get the buy-in that some of these other names would because it's not a splashy hire, and Florida wants a splashy hire. Florida fans want a splashy hire. I don't know
Yeah,
what Florida
yeah.
administration
Muddy,
wants,
muddy.
but
One. He was 1-11 his first year at Arizona. 10-3 3 years later.
yeah, it's well, it doesn't take 4 years?
Just 3 if you're Jed Fish. And
Huh.
I have been a component of like I'm like Jed's not sexy. Again, this is why I wanted to do this because
Yeah.
I have bought into the sexy like like it's not sexy enough or what have you,
Yeah.
right? And look,
Yeah.
this chart here, Eli really like again if you're looking at the 6, James is
Yeah.
concerning, right? Which we know that.
Yeah.
And again, it describes him perfectly. Offensive identity, we know that. And so the James does not fit what Florida fans would want either.
Yeah.
And I would still put Eli based on this. And I know like there's a couple of I know Sam and Gale guys, they're really pumping James. And I think it's healthy to go all of it's great, these conversations.
Mhm.
The Brom one, I really kind of got my train rolling on Brom. But then the
Yeah.
whole idea, his thought process of his inability to have great conversations really threw me off. Lincoln came from the clouds from Dan the other day. And I was a big component of Lincoln Riley 3 years ago. I loved Lincoln. I thought he
Mhm.
was a top 5 coach in my opinion. And I
Yeah.
was like, this guy's going to run amok at USC. And it hasn't worked out. And
Yeah, I am shocked, honestly, that he has not done better out there,
yeah,
um, than he has. This is an interesting, chart, but I mean, I don't know. You are in the second most talent-rich state in the country as far as recruiting goes. Maybe the 3rd behind Texas potentially, but I think it's Florida number 1, and then probably Texas, then probably California, so let's call it the 3rd. You don't have any massive competition in there. I mean, UCLA and Stanford are there, but USC used to never recruit on the same level that USC and Stanford did. I mean, there was a huge leap. So if it's leveled, that's probably on Lincoln. I don't know. Um, yeah, I don't know. I don't there's something about Lincoln Riley that's always seemed slightly slimy to me, so,
It's a
if
little
he comes
off.
here, I'll totally change about that tune, I'm sure, but, um, yeah, I don't know. But Braum is intriguing. I've heard he won't leave Louisville because it's his, alma
Alma
mater,
mater.
but I you've got to think he's young. Um, does he really not have the itch there? And I don't know if I've ever said it to you like this. I've said it on my show, but I feel like there's two kind of categories that coaches fall in, and one is the one that has to fly close to the sun,
Yeah.
and then there are those who are okay being comfortable. And you kind of find out, is that Braum? Is he comfortable? This is the top of the mountain for him because he went to school here. He could probably keep the job as long as he wants to. He's finding some great success. Likes the area, is just okay being there. A la, let's say, Kurt Ferenz. Ferenz has gotten called so many times for bigger jobs over the last 20 years and has said no every single time. Or are you somebody who, like Dan Mullen, that wanted to fly closer to the sun? He could have stayed at Mississippi State for the rest of his career. The stadium would probably be named after him right now. But he had that desire to see, can I consistently win championships? Can I compete at the absolute highest level? And let's be honest, Louisville could win a national championship. They will not create a perennial powerhouse at Louisville. So, does he want to fly close to the sun or does he want to stay comfortable?
Let's play one more game. We'll probably play more, but
Let's do it.
this is another game I just thought of here. Outside of Kirby and we'll say Ryan Day, who are your
Mhm.
top 5 coaches right now?
Hmm. That's a great question. Um, I think you put Signetti up
Mhm.
there. I
Yep.
mean, what he's doing at Indiana is
No, it
incredibly
doesn't have to be in
impressive.
order. It doesn't don't think like that.
Yeah,
Just yeah.
sure. I mean, I think Signetti, I think Kiffin, I think
Okay.
this season, Clark Lee. Um,
Okay.
this is a great huh. I think you put why can't I think of his name? What's his face at Texas A&M up
Okay,
there
let's
right
see. You
now?
forget my boy, Elko.
Um,
Yeah.
yep, nope, not gonna forget Elko. Just forget his name, but not forget him. Okay, so what is that 3, 4?
That's 3, yeah. You could probably argue
I mean,
Freeman's in that category.
I think you can argue Freeman. I mean, and you said we had to remove Kirby and Ryan Day, but
Yeah.
obviously they would be up there otherwise.
Dan
I
Lanning's
don't know.
probably up there.
Manning's probably up there. Although I
My point
swear
for
I
the
think that they are somewhat inconsistent, but
Yeah, I agree. My point for the question was, and this goes back to the chart here, because there's a thing with Lincoln. As great as Lincoln's circle is, we have a lot of data on Lincoln that concerns me about Lincoln.
mhm. Yeah.
And there's he got him going to USC and not having success type of data that scares me about Lincoln.
Yeah.
When I think about coach, because I tweeted out today, like, hey, why is it Elko on our list? And I don't know why he's not on the list, but why? Everyone's like, there's no way. Well, we talked about Dan Lanning and guys that there's no way anyways. Like we put Urban Meyer on the
I
list at
mean,
one point. Like
they're mentioning Elko with the Penn State job because Elko's from the Northeast. So if the Penn State job is even anywhere remotely on the table, why would the Florida job not be remotely on the table? And even if it's not, you make him say no.
so that was my point. Is like I feel like it wasn't an egregious question, but
Yeah, it's
let's
not.
look at a track record from Elko because Elko falls into a category like a Jed Fish and a Brom
Mhm.
because they turned things around and showed a nice trajectory moving forward. Because I would say that Lincoln's recent trajectory is probably a bit skewed. Personally, I don't think it should be that high. But
Yeah.
Jed Fish and
Well,
Brom have showed what Elko showed, what Kurt Getty showed, that they won everywhere they went.
mhm.
Billy didn't show that. Billy just showed that he won in one place for a year and a half. Okay, so let's not.
Yeah.
They're not the same comparison. DeBoer also very similar. Won everywhere that he went, although he had in a rough. We call it a rough year. And this is where I start to look of like, well, maybe like we have. we know, and Lane is in a weird, again, Lane is still, I think, even more so, the more that I talk about it, is definitely option number one, because although it's a little bit skewed. Think about that one bottom half there is cost value. So
Mhm.
Jetfish and Braum, that bottom left quadrant, are getting tugged because of the cost of them, which is
Right.
huge. That they're getting a lot of points for that. Keep that in mind. So if that isn't a factor, because I try to look at this from like an AD
Yeah, you
perspective.
remove that, and that's pretty much a very similar shape to some of these others. I wanna know what Steve Spurrier and Urban Meyer's shapes would look like. Like,
You want
what
me?
worked here before, you know? What
Mm,
shape fit well
should
for
we
the
start?
Florida
Hey,
model?
should we start our own turnkey?
I mean,
I feel
absolutely.
like I feel like we're onto something here. You know what I mean?
I mean, we
We
created
just we
these
just
shirts the last time I was on. Now we're gonna create I mean, let's go.
I mean, what are we doing here? I mean, good lord, who's doing it? I mean, 1,000 people strong. We're trying to get to 30,000 subs. If for the shirt creation in a week, look, this was an idea a week ago. All right, this was an
Mhm.
idea a week ago, and
Literally last Sunday.
it's print and delivered within 6 days. I mean, there's just nobody with that kind of turnaround time in the north hemisphere. I'm just telling you right now, there's not. And now we've essentially just hired a coach. I think, I don't even know, but my point, my kind of little my rant there was Mike Elco is very appealing to me. Kurt Sangetti is one of the
Mhm.
hottest names on the market, and these guys were showing they could win. I mean, when you think about Mike Elco being hired from Duke, well, why? What was he so appealing? The guy just won 9 of 10 games at Duke. He just needed the
Mhm.
the edge. The James
Mhm.
Franklin was 1 in 10 and 9-10 at Penn State
Vanderbilt. Mhm.
with
But he
much
was
better.
also doing it at Vanderbilt before that.
Well, winning 9 of 10, yeah, and so that was, and so
Yeah.
it's almost Penn State was the leap, and he proven he
Yep.
can't do it at the big time,
Yep.
right?
Mhm.
And so
Yeah.
that's where it's almost worth taking the risk. And that's where I think Lane falls into that category of these guys, but at a higher level.
Yeah.
Because Ole Miss, I mean, Ole Miss is a much higher program than, let's say, Washington and Louisville, sure, but how much higher?
Yeah. There's still a ceiling there.
So what we confirmed tonight by looking at this is that it's Lane, right? But I think that if looking at this, I mean, outside of a not a splashiness and not a sexiness, I'm not. I wouldn't be too frightened with the Brahms or the Fishes.
Yeah.
I really
Yeah.
wouldn't. I really wouldn't.
Yeah. No, I agree with that. This is an interesting little exercise. I am going to make you when we get off air. You do the same thing with Spurrier and Urban. I just want to see what their shapes look like in comparison. Um,
You're missing personality and swagger fit. Look, and I think that's a great, and that's why once we
and
had our
that's true. 100%. 100%.
and look, that's why I wanted to take it's twofold here. So if I was an AD, I said let's separate it. And now,
Mhm.
okay, now we know our three guys are Braun, Fish, and Lane. Now let's talk about personality fit. Well, I think
Yeah.
that's where Fish and Kiffin go to the class of their own. That's where Braun falls back a little bit.
Yeah.
And that's where Fish really pulls into this category that he wasn't. And we can even, I would say, throw Lincoln in. Again, there is a weird feeling. It's one of those things sometimes you can't explain. And I think Franklin falls
Mhm.
into that category with Lane or Lincoln of
Yeah.
like almost like Florida, like, and again, I talked about it on Saturday, like, hey, James is a good feel. It's like, are we just that afraid to make a reasonable hire that we're gonna just go what we feel like a Mark Richt esque, like it's comfortable, we'll win 10 plus games. No, we got to go out there and
Yeah. I
we got to make a smart decision. How can A&M go and get Mike Elko and be on a historic run when they fired Elko, it was like, yeah, that's a good hire. Not like, damn, bro, you got Mike Elko.
Yeah. Well, and that's it. I don't think Florida can send the message that he wasn't good enough for Penn State, but he is good enough for Florida. You know, even if there had been like a couple of years in between, that would be a more palatable hire. But it is a hard argument, a hard sell to make to boosters that he couldn't cut it in a conference that we deem as subpar to the SEC. In terms of competition, you're going to see every single day, but somehow he is going to do better at Florida. Even if he is a reasonable hire, he is a less risky hire than some of these other guys. That is 100% true. I think his floor is higher than some of these guys, but I think his ceiling is lower potentially than some of these guys. And I do also think that fit matters. I think you're seeing at LSU right now a program that didn't take into consideration how personality fit factors into all of this. Think about his opening it was like opening weekend when he was there. He was introduced on the basketball court and he brings out his Cajun accent and you're like, did that really just happen? Is that like what he thinks that this is here? Like there's no part of this that has ever been natural. And honestly, like Lane fits LSU's personality too. They want Les Miles. They want Nick Saban. They want somebody with even Coach O fits in there. Like they want the loudmouth, you know, brash coach, which so do we, you know.
Yeah.
They'd prefer him with a Cajun accent, which is why O was perfect there. I think that was such a miscalculation. Honestly, Penn State could hire Brian Kelly. That would be fine. Like that would probably work better
Yeah,
there
because he
than
fit at
he
Notre
would at
Dame. He
LSU.
fit like in
He
a
did.
weird,
He fit
yeah.
at Notre Dame.
And I would put those two in the same category.
Yeah, just a little bit more buttoned up in the Northeast. Like they do not understand the concept of tailgating, starting from 9 a.m. 3 days before.
He
That's,
would do better because he wouldn't be getting attacked. He would get attacked a little less directly, like he did in these LSU pressers. And look,
yeah,
Kurt at Indiana. Why does he fit? Because Indiana didn't have a clue who they needed. You know what I mean? Like
right.
it's just like
Indiana
they were
didn't have
just
an identity, so it just now it's him.
looking for a pulse. But I think you're
Yeah,
spot on there. I think that when you hear like, oh, this is so and so, like he's doing well there. Like, oh yeah, that's his alma mater. Oh, so and so, like, oh yeah, it's his alma mater. Like, okay, is there a trend here? And I don't not necessarily think that it, just because you coach your alma mater, you're gonna have success. But there is this
right.
weird nuance of like, you kind of just you hit the ground running and you understand how to walk the halls. It's one less thing that you have to think about doing. I think
You need to
Napier
learn.
struggled with that probably for the first couple of years. That put him behind the eight ball of like how to navigate these halls. Where like you got to be a little bit of a dog. You got to know. You've got to like smile, but then also be willing to stab someone in the back. Like that's how it that's
I don't know that he ever learned what was necessary. I mean, I think he was a nice guy, and I think we purposefully probably went personality-wise different than Mullen. I think that was a choice, and I think if you look back for the last several of Florida's coaches, they kind of toggle between asshole, nice guy. Like it's time for an asshole. That's where we are in the roller coaster of head coaching hirings, and you kind of look for the opposite of what your person you just fired has. But I don't in hindsight, I don't know that Napier's personality was the right fit here.
agreed. Agreed. It just I think it was growing, but it never really hit home. And look, I think Braum would fit, but there was about the article of like, can he go into somebody's house and recruit and bring them home? Like apparently he just is not like talking to people, and I mean that's hard to fix. This isn't something you just
Yeah.
learn
Well,
overnight.
the good news is in the NIL era, it matters slightly less because if you come with the right amount of money, then that helps. I mean, I don't want a coach with no personality that can't sell the program because I think the program is worth committing to with or without any money involved in it. But I do think in this era, it matters slightly less than in previous eras.
Agree. A couple super chats. Matt Brandon says we might be cooked. This was
This is
earlier on.
something that my 11-year-old says all the time. I'm cooked.
I'm cooked.
Um,
Alpha Gator, Allie, are you Buddy Martin's source?
No and yes. I don't know. I literally repeated a conversation we had on here and I was like, well, if this is really a number that LSU might be looking at, then clearly we'd have to do better than that. But it was like a hypothetical. But I did ask him about that because I was a little nervous that I was the source on that. But he told me he spoke to 3 separate Ole Miss sources. And I will say this about Buddy Martin. He's been covering Florida for 60 years. He has been the editor of some really impressive sports pages across the country. So if there was somebody that was going to have 3 sources in the state of Mississippi, it would probably be Buddy Martin.
There we have it, buddy with the deets, baby. I love it. $2, 61 coaching changes last 2 years is a crazy stat. That is a crazy stat. I think it's gonna probably amp up a little bit more, to be honest with you. $2. You're taking 5. Let's get it. That was Lane Kiffin, which we would be happy taking 5. I don't know if they knew that at the time, Brock. $5. Allie, the splashy hire isn't a factor if we're winning. No one will care later. Agreed.
I think that's true. Nobody will care later, but that doesn't mean they don't care right away. And I think that having immediate buy-in is important.
Yeah, I think that anybody, I mean, Lane is the only one, and even still, I think he's gonna be met with some pushback, to be quite honest with you. But I feel like it would, if look, you come in, you give me like Billy Gonzalez won half the people over with his speech on Monday, right? So You
Well,
can
and
come.
that's a perfect example though of somebody who does understand the culture and understands what the fans needed to hear at
Yeah,
that moment to win them over. And I think, he's not an idiot. He's a smart guy. And I will tell you, he has been saying the patch thing for 20 years. I've heard him say it. So that's not even something that's made up, but that's a perfect example of somebody that gets it. And why it's so important the next hire is also somebody who gets it. But I mean, you're right to a certain extent. I'm going to get on the train of whoever we hire, right? Until they force me off or they take me to the promised land, one way or the other. And I hope that most Gator fans are like that. But I feel like we all kind of feel like the battered wife at this point, and it would be really nice to get somebody that feels like administration listened to this fan base and the type of coach that they wanted, took a gamble, and were successful.
agreed. $2. Fish would get fan support like Mark Pope did at UK. I think that Fish would be welcomed pretty quickly. It may not be the splashy one, but Jed Fish would, I think, definitely be appreciated, especially by the boosters. I think he get a lot of support just by being an alum.